we'll get started right away.
Sure.
Rachana, I'm guessing you're a Pune girl, right?
Yeah.
Born, brought up, everything in Pune.
Yes.
Which school?
Abhinav Vidyalaya.
Abhinav Vidyalaya. That's like a very reputed school, right, in Pune?
Yeah.
I can see that pride on your. You said the name.
My son goes to the same school.
Okay, that's cool. And then were you like a class topper type of a student?
I wish, but I never was. I mean, in my school group, we were all we were 5 girls in my school group, and all 4 of these were like amongst the toppers, other than me. So whenever the results used to come out, they used to be like, "Arey, I scored 92." Someone would go like, "I scored 93," and I used to be like, "Ab inko mere marks kaise batao?" Because I used to be somewhere around 81, 82. So not below average. I can say a little bit above average,
bad, yeah.
Nowhere close to topper.
But I bet you were the naughtiest one in the group.
101%.
Me and my team, when we watch your videos,
yeah,
we say there is some mischievousness, that comes out of your personality all the time.
True.
That's inbuilt from the school days.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I've been to the principal also quite a few times.
Murga bana ke. Okay, and then what made you choose? Why? I'm guessing you chose commerce after that.
Yeah.
What made you not take science or arts?
I wanted to pursue a career in singing originally.
And
in singing also, rather than performing it on stage and all that, I was interested in teaching singing. So it was a mixture of being a teacher as a passion and singing as a passion. So ye dono mix karke I wanted to be a singer, and then my parents told me that, Rachana, if you choose science, then you'll have to study a lot. Plus, I mean, my mom is from arts background, my dad is from commerce background. My brother was doing CA by then. So everyone was like, don't do science, that's for sure. Then my mom said, I have taken arts. I know what are the different challenges that one can face if you're doing, something like a pure, she's like MA with English. So the career opportunities are comparatively less is what she told me at that time. Correct. So she said that the better option can be commerce. So, while doing BCom, anyways, everyone knows that if you're doing only BCom, you can do a lot of other things in the world as well, right? BCom, so that was exactly. So that was the only reason why I chose commerce. The whole thought process was to make my career in singing plus teaching. That was the whole reason.
So commerce was basically a choice of elimination, not selection.
100%.
Science nahi, arts nahi, so therefore I do commerce.
100%.
All right, and then when did that CA bug got you? Because then you wanted to be a singer, and which is cool. We should talk more about that. And I heard, I think in the morning today, I heard ye Lal Rang clip that you had.
Yeah, so I mean, I started learning music when I was in grade 1. First standard se singing sikha hai maine. And I learned till I cleared CA intermediate also.
Okay.
So I have learned music for almost 12, 13 odd years. I've taught music for almost 4 or 5 years.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. So after I started 11th standard, that was the time when I said, chalo, now because I'm here for one specific reason, now I should start so I started taking certain tuitions, home tuitions type, right? So 4 or 5 people from my society only used to come. I used to teach them. So at a very small scale. So that's when I started taking music classes, and I took it till I started my articleship. So for quite a long time, I was teaching music to different children in my society. So 11th standard, 12th standard was just like Gana padhane mein gaya, thoda padhai karne mein gaya. And after 12th, I scored decent enough, right? At that time, I guess the board cutoff was around 83%. And I got 81.5 or something like that. So I missed
cutoff as in to get a rank.
So, हम बोलते ना कि board में आ गए merit list and something like that, right? So that was one of the first few times in my life, or maybe just one of those times in my life when I said, oh shit, I lost my merit by like 15 marks or 10 marks, whatever. Otherwise, I always have to say, I passed with just because of 10-15 marks when I started my CA career, right? So when this was the point in 12th standard, I was like, so studies is also something which I started loving studies more after I took commerce. So accounts started to interest me a lot. Economics started to interest me a lot. So वो automatically that love for studies had started to drip in by the time I took 11th and 12th standard.
Got it.
But then still, you know, music was still priority number one. Second was studies. So after 12th standard, I was in a fix that what do I do? CA, music, what? But at that time, my boyfriend, he was very clear. You have met Akshay. He's my husband. When you had come to my office.
Oh,
So
okay.
Akshay and me have been in a relationship.
Girlfriend when you were in 12th standard.
Yeah. long-term relation. We always have believed in long-term investment, right? Since,
of course, yeah.
Right. So when after clearing 12th, he said, I am going to do CA. That's for sure. And he said, if you start going ahead with music as a career, if I do CA, then how will we meet? So that, I mean, so if we were to meet regularly, then why don't you do one thing? At least take admission for CA, na? तो क्लासेस में मिलना होगा, उसी बहाने we'll go to college together, we'll go to classes together, and then in early morning anyways you do riyaz, so that's not a big problem. So CPT classes, if you know, they're typically, so our CPT classes were like 3 to 7 in the afternoon.
CPT is the first level of CA.
First level, right? So PE1, we had PE1 at that time. Correct. So he said, anyways, it's 3 to 7, so you can do riyaz and all that in the morning, so that you can continue that, but do CA at least, so milna hoga. Fair enough. Acha, logic acha hai. So that was the only reason why I started doing CA. No other reason.
Thank God Akshay was into CA. Had he been, had he been maybe something else, we would have never got the Rachana Ranade that we know today.
Thank you. So of course, and as I mentioned, it was not like an alien concept in my family. So my dad is a BCom, MCom. He was in the finance department of Kirloskar Brothers for quite a few number of years. My brother, by that time when I entered PE1, my brother was already in CA final at that time. He had a girlfriend who is my bhabhi right now. She was also in CA final. So there was something which was there in my house. Ki CA karna hai, acha baat hota hai. But no one forced me to do that. In fact, my dad was trying to convince me that why doing CA is a wrong choice. You have to go ahead with singing as a career. But I said, no, I want to try this thing. And
you had different motives altogether, right?
Dil mein kuch aur, zubaan pe kuch aur.
Nice. And then how was the CA journey? Did you enjoy studying for CA? Because it's a grueling course.
Absolutely. I mean, I really feel lucky to be a Puneite because I believe in Marathi also we say that Pune Vidyacha Maher Ghar hai. So it's as good as all the best possible teachers, one of the best I can say for sure, you can get in Pune. And I'm sure you might also be aware about this, that I mean, a lot of amazing teachers we have in Pune for CA course as well. And when I started learning CA, same thing which I experienced in 11th and 12th standard, that, okay, I'm loving this. That same feeling I started to get when I entered P1, learning economics in a little bit different way, accounting, learning in more logical style rather than ratta marna. Like I remember in 11th, 12th standard, our coaching teachers used to say like, this is debit, this is credit. No one used to tell us why, logic hai, kisi ne nahi bataya. But when I started doing CA, the logics, I really started falling in love with that. So that was the time when I said, yaar, maza aa raha hai, ye bhi, this is not bad. And that was a time which was like an optimum struggle for me, foundation as a P1, because that was a time when I was trying to do something different, CA. And number two, I was doing Sangeet Visharad that time. The Sangeet Visharad is like equivalent to bachelor's in music.
Wow.
And
okay.
So it's quite a degree to have in music as well. So I was doing riyaz for 3 hours in the morning, then taking classes, sham ko aake homework, studies. So that was, and in between, relationship.
Of course. Of course.
So it was like too much to handle in that 1 year. But yeah, thankfully, successfully, it happened.
Once you get into it, it happens.
Yeah. So I think that was a year when I started to learn the concept of compartmentalization. That when I'm studying, I was only studying. When I was doing riyaz, I was doing only riyaz. When I was with my boyfriend, I was enjoying the time with him. If we try to mix all these things, it happens with many students, that when I'm studying, I feel like, but my other friends are enjoying. So half of my mind is diverted there. So if you can focus more on what you are doing. So if you're living in the present, what you are doing right now, that I think gets the best out of you. And that's what I experienced in the beginning of my CA career.
And it's not easy to do.
Yeah,
And
that's
even when you're studying, when I'm studying economics, I think of accounts. When I'm studying accounts, I think of it. It happens, right?
true.
It's a
Happens with
difficult skill to
everyone.
acquire.
Happens with the best of the ones. So you just have to small tricks and tips. What I used to do. See, हमको भी समझ में आता है that मन भटक रहा है. That smart we are. Everyone is. So the moment I used to get a feeling that I'm thinking something different, I used to get up from my chair. I used to start roaming and reading aloud. तो मैं जोर जोर से पढ़ती थी. So वो मंत्र कैसे जोर जोर से पढ़ते हैं तो ऑटोमेटिकली ध्यान जाता है वहां पे. So that is
not in a public place.
Not no. I did not study in libraries when I was in foundation.
Achha.
So I had that liberty of reading out loud.
Good. So P1 done, then you go to P2.
Yeah.
Or P2, right? The next
P2. Yes.
course.
The next one was P2, and that was also a fun year. In P2, it was more heavy classes at that time, because I remember at that time we used to be like 6-7 hours in classes, and plus a little bit of college, not much to be honest. But the homeworks are like crazy in P2. When I used to teach CA, I used to tell that foundation is like Parvati Tekdi, okay, a hillock, and intermediate is like Himalayas. It's a huge gap between P1 and P2. So, digesting that and studying based on that, it was tricky, but see, I believe that I know who I am. I know that I'm not like a brilliant person. I know that I can't remember things just based on one reading. In Marathi, we call such people as ek pathi. Ek pathi is ek baar pad liya, fit in your mind. I'm not that category. I need to revise it twice, thrice, then only it will fit in my mind. So I knew that if I were to clear this hurdle, there is only one possible choice, and that is extreme hard work. There's no option for that. So I prepared myself for that. That was the year when I stopped doing all this riyaz and all that. That was the first time in my life that I, diverted completely to CA from singing. So that was like a major switch for me. I slogged pretty hard, I can say that. Didn't clear with amazing numbers as such. At that time, I guess 300 is passing. I got 309. Okay, so many people can also only 9 extra marks. Okay, but I always tell that I know what hard work I've done. So I know that was like a major shift in my life at that time, and that is the reason why even if people say, you are lucky and CML luck lagta hai. So I said, yes, luck is a part, no doubt about that. But I believe it's 99% hard work and that 1% luck which you get after that 99% hard work. So yeah, Inter was a big hurdle, I can say. I cleared it. My boyfriend didn't in the first attempt.
Okay.
So, it was a kahani mein twist in our relationship as well. So, all that typical.
That must have been weird, right?
It was. It was because of him that I started doing CA, and I cleared and he did not. That was the scenario. Yeah. And for him, I guess it was only, he was not able to manage the pressure. So for him, it was more about, oh my God, I have to clear. And for me, it was like, I was loving it. I was doing it for myself. Anyways, my parents were not pressurizing me for that. So I was doing it with my wish and will. He too was doing it with that. But in addition to that, it was a lot of pressure that was on his mind. He was not able to handle that. And he flunked. So the next 6 months were like, I am doing my articleship. 10 to 6, I'm in office. In my articleship office, phones were not allowed.
Okay.
So 10 to 6 cut off. Lambi judai kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, typical clashes, the teenage clashes did happen in our relationship as well. But yeah, in the second attempt, he cleared P2 as well, and yeah, that was thankfully a short-lived.
We might as well title this session as Rachana's love journey.
Actually, my CA journey is all about my CA journey plus love journey.
Cool. So, and then 3 years of articleship, and then you end up taking the CFA final, right?
Sure.
So, articleship in what area? Auditing, taxation?
Yeah, majorly in auditing only. I can say 90% in auditing, 10% hardly in taxation.
Yeah. And then right after your CA, you started teaching?
Yeah, so I was one of the first in our office, at least, articleship office at least, who was a chartered article. So basically, what is this? I'll tell you. When I did the P1, P2 pattern, at that time, after 2 years of starting your after 2.5 years, or What was that? No,
Yeah,
sorry.
you could take the final
2
exams
years
every
only.
year.
After 2 years, we are allowed to take the final attempt.
Right.
So मेरा P2 का result came out in July 2006. So July 2006 to July 2008. उसके बाद whatever attempt is due, you are allowed to give that. So I gave my exam in November 2008. And I cleared it in the first attempt. So Jan 2009, I was a chartered. And my articleship had started in August. So Jan 2009 to August 2009, I had to complete my articleship. It was almost a 6 to 7 months articleship which was left. And I was a chartered at that time. So everyone used to tease me, we have a chartered article in our office. And that time I remember that we used to get 2,500 stipend, you know. So I had gone to my principal and I had told him.
That's a lot. No.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I know. So I told my sir that, sir, abhi CA ban gayi, sir, please thoda to at least. I know I'm an article, but CA bhi ho gaya mera. So at that time, I remember he had increased from 2,500 to 5,000. Nice. So it was like a big gossip in our office that, oh my God, one article is getting 5,000 stipends. So it was like amazing. So yeah, this is what happened after clearing CA. And the question that you asked me that, was it immediately teaching after, completing CA? But as I mentioned, while I was doing CA also, I was teaching. But I was teaching music.
Music, right.
Right. Yeah. In CA, so when my husband was in CA final, I taught ISKA to him. So I was also teaching him. So tab se main usko padha rahi hu.
You're teaching him ISKA.
Yeah.
The computer science.
Yeah. That was one. I love technology. So I told him that, and he hates it to the core. So I told him that, don't worry, this subject I'll teach you, don't worry. But then he didn't realize that एक बार उसको आदत डाल दी तो जिंदगी भर मुझे पढ़ाती रहेगी. So since that day I've been right. So I did teach ISKA as well, and during articleship also we had something known as Saturday sessions. So Saturday sessions were something like articles were asked to present a topic. Right. And when I was asked to present that, I remember I had asked my sir, I need a whiteboard, I need a few books, I need a scale to point out things. So my sir had told at that time that you're the first article who has even asked for a whiteboard. Right. So I said that maybe that teaching ka love was very much there. It was coming out through the journey, and I was realizing more and more that I'm loving it. Right. While I was in that chartered article phase, I had gotten this opportunity to teach 12th standard accounts. I'll not name the class. It's a very renowned class in Pune, and very, very old CA class in Pune. And they had started with 12th standard accounts. And I said, chalo, I approached sir and he said, why not, Rachana, you can teach 12th standard accounts. I did all the notes. Everything was ready. I still have the appointment letter with me. It's the very first thing that is there in my file, resume ka files, right? And all the documents. And it says that Rachana Ranade appointed it in this organization and will be paid 300 rupees per hour. So that was like amazing at that time, right? 300 rupees per hour, 2009 I'm talking about. And you can imagine that my batch starts in 2 days. So I'd gone to finalize the notes. And that time, sir told me that, Rachana, good you came. I was about to call you. There is some change. And instead of you, we have another sir who is going to teach accounting because he is more famous. And he has a lot of admissions. And it was more like a merger between the two classes. And I said, but sir, you didn't tell me my batch ideally was going to start in 2 days. I'm prepared with everything. So he said, okay, next time if I have an opportunity for you, I'll let you know. And I was so broken down. I was like, this was what I was wanting to do, teaching. And now first time other than singing, I was going to teach commerce. I was getting this opportunity, and I was totally shattered at that time, to be honest. And I was just 21, 22 at that time. And I said, Zindagi mein kuch bhi karungi, but I will not teach. That is what I had. Because, that typical, young age wala thing. And first time, it's an utter failure. And not because of you, right? Heartbroken thing. So, said, kuch bhi karungi, teaching nahi karungi. Bas bahut ho gaya. 6 months from that day also, I was getting a lot of queries. I said, I'm not going to teach. And I was continuing with CA assignments, small. I was doing a job with the same firm where I did my articleship. And after 6 months, one of my friends said that there is an opening for teaching in Sinhagad Business School. Okay, for MBA Finance. Okay. And I said, MBA Finance, I don't think I can teach them. He said, Rachana, I have given a word. and they are utterly in need of a chartered accountant, and I know you can do that. I said, but I'm not going to teach. He said, अरे यार मेरे लिए करो, एक subject करो, एक sem करो, बाद में कुछ नहीं किया तो भी चलेगा. I've given already a word. So I said, चलो ठीक है. Somehow he convinced me, and I went to meet the director. Director को मैंने पूछा, which subject, ma'am? She said, international economics. I was like, this has zero connection with CA. I've never even heard that what it is. But she said that give it a try. You're a CA, first attempt, you're young, this, that. So I said, okay, I took it up as a challenge, right? And I started teaching that subject. And after almost 1 month, she called me. She said, Rachana, come and meet me. And I was like, oh my God, shayad maine kuch galat padha diya hai. And while I was going, I still remember, I was trying to recollect or I was trying to build up a story in my mind that what excuse can I give her कि मैंने क्यों गलत पढ़ाया या फिर what went wrong. I was completely preparing for that. And when I went to her cabin, she said that we have gotten an amazing feedback from the students. They're loving how you're teaching and they want you to continue for the next semester. I was like, this was not expected. So I was like, ये मैं क्या सोच के आई थी और क्या हो गया. So that was again one very positive turning story, I can say, in the teaching career. I taught in the same business school for 3 years. And after that,
you were teaching in Sinhagad from
I was a
9 to 12.
full-time employee of Sinhagad College.
Really?
3 years. Yeah.
You were a professor.
I was
assistant
an
professor,
assistant professor being paid some 23,000 rupees when all my CA friends were getting paid somewhere around 45,000 in Deloitte, EY, MNCs everywhere. And sab mere pe haste the, you're mad or what, Rachana? You are teaching MBA students. You are taking attendance. If you're a full-time employee, you have to do all the rubbish things also, na? Taking attendance and meeting the parents. All that I was doing after clearing CA in the first attempt. And all my friends were doing all fancy stuff in MNCs. But I said, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I love when I'm in the classroom. So just a small story that other teachers, other professors used to complain to the director that yaar ye bacche na bahar coffee shop ke pe hote hain. They don't attend the classes. And for me, many a times used to happen that I used to call the peon to get extra benches from other classes. Itna full ho jata tha class. So those moments when I was in the classroom, I used to just enjoy it like anything. And I think I, as a person, again, developed a lot during those 3 years because I got an opportunity to teach any and every subject which was there for MBA Finance. So my ambit or gamut, I can say, of subjects that increased knowledge increased quite a bit. The mindset of you have to keep on learning for life. That started developing in those 3 years again, because otherwise, many of my friends were like, CA done, ab khatam. Now I'm not going to learn anything. Yeah. And that is where my learning journey, in fact, started in a new phase. After 3 years of teaching at Sinhagad, then I left Sinhagad. I was pregnant at that time. And then after, almost 6 months of break post-pregnancy, I started again teaching as a visiting faculty. And I taught 7 different colleges as a visiting faculty, because koi bhi puchta tha na, ye subject padha hai kya aapne? I said, yes, I have taught that subject. Because I taught every so that was the investment that I was doing for the first 3 years, which helped me to get into various colleges. So 2009 to 2019, I taught 7 colleges in Pune.
9 to 19. Yeah. So about 10 years.
10 years.
And visiting faculty pays better, right? Visiting faculty pays. So by the way, I don't think if I've told you, but I also accidentally became a professor in a business school. That's how I started my teaching in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Which business school?
SIBA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was a Symbiosis student
Acha.
Back in 2000. So I think we became CA on the same day. I'm also remember 2008. Yes.
Oh.
Same batch. But I was never into classes. So Prestige Point was never my thing.
You did it on your own, is it?
Yeah, mostly, like most of the thing. And I attended 1 or 2 demo classes there at Prestige Point, but then I figured maybe I don't fit into this place very well. But anyway, so I started teaching as a professor full-time in Symbiosis 2010 or 11, I guess.
Okay.
Same. I did that for about 6-8 months. Figured it's not paying me well. Plus my director wanted me to do admin work. Call parents, manage placements, do alumni.
You understand the pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Then I quit very fast. Then I became visiting for some time. Yeah. Good. So 10 years visiting. So you must have been to almost every possible college in Pune.
Every day I used to travel on an average 20-23 kilometers. First half in this college, second half in that college. Next day, first half in that. So it used to be like booking of entire slots, 6. On an average, lectures used to start at 10 and last lecture used to be at around 5:36. 10 years.
And how was that experience?
I think, again, these 10 years were a complete investment in my teaching style, is what I believe. Because that was when, I'm sure you might be aware about this, that in MBA Finance first sem, you have accounting, management accounting. And people from all genres come to do MBA. And MBA, first year, you don't choose a specialization, right? Second year, you'll choose a specialization. So first sem management accounting, everyone has to do, irrespective of whatever your background is. So I remember engineers, then BCom students, unko वैसे भी कुछ नहीं आता है. But then we had arts, art students. Then people from agri background. You name it, and various students used to be there in my class. I remember the very first day, because they used to get a little bit, complex aa jata tha unko ki, there are some BCom students also there in the class, so they'll grasp much faster than us. Then what will happen to us? So every single year for 10 years, first day of my lecture used to be like to tell the BCom students that you know nothing. Okay, I used to, yeah, क्योंकि otherwise ना वो हवा में रहते हैं कि यार we know everything kind of.
BCom हवा में रहता है.
बिल्कुल, क्योंकि उनके बाजू में एग्री स्टूडेंट वाला बैठा है ना. So उनको तो कुछ भी नहीं पता है. चलो हम again same thing मराठी में भी से ना वासरात लंगड़ी गाय शहाणी. So it's like it's like that, right? So first day में everyone used to come on our same ground. Everyone used to understand, unko bhi nahi aata, apne ko bhi nahi aata hai. We are sailing in the same boat. And then I used to start teaching. That was the time when students started asking me certain questions. Something like, just to give you an example, some very basic point like, why closing stock comes in the trading account credit side? Now you can imagine, Utkarsh, after clearing CA final, I'm answering this question, why closing...
A lot of CAs don't know this, by the way.
Actually, that had happened. And I was like, it comes in trading credit only. What nonsense is this? No, but why? I was like, why? Abhi ye to kisne why padhaya nahi tha, right? So just trying to figure out ye income hai, but this is not current income. This is future income, which may turn into income. So what is the logic? And that was the time I understood that even I'm not able to answer the whys for some items. Believe it or not, I started going back to libraries of 11th standard. I started taking out
CFA kar lete
nahi, but I mean, yeah, but 11th standard ke books liye, and I remember buying that book, Romancing the Balance Sheet.
Anilamba.
It's a fantastic book to get your basics right, and in that I understood, it's the consumption thing that we take into place, that purchases में पूरा आ गया, उसमें से पूरा consume तो नहीं हुआ, तो जितना consume नहीं हुआ, that to offset that will take as a trading credit. Oh my God, this is the logic. So then when I understood that in the very first year, then now you know what I did for the next 9 years. This was the first question I had. Why trading credit?
Okay, yeah. Every teacher has those questions, by the way.
I know.
There is something that people will fall in the trap.
Absolutely. So that was, as I mentioned, these were the years where I started to develop the whys of a lot of things. That was when I tried to skill up myself to simplify things for an absolute commoner who knows nothing about finance, who knows nothing about accounting. That person should also tell me after the term ends that, ma'am, we are confident, we can do that. Yeah. So I think this was the investment that I did for 10 years. And I think this is what helped me a lot on the next journey, which started in 2019.
Fantastic. That's the highest level of learning, right? The Feynman score. If you can simplify and explain to someone, then you've truly understood this.
True.
So 2019 is when you decided to do YouTube for the first time?
Yeah.
But no, before that, I remember, Rachana, because see, Rohit was your friend, right? Rohan Kulkarni.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Rohan used to be my colleague. We used to work together.
Yeah.
And we had conversations about you even before that.
Absolutely,
before
I remember.
you became a YouTube star.
Yes.
So I think that time you were doing something on Prestige Point. You were teaching CA students. Is that correct?
Yeah. So during those 10 years, I was not teaching only MBA finance students. I was also teaching auditing for CA intermediate and CA final students.
Okay.
But auditing is comparatively a smaller subject. Volume zyada nahi hai wo subject ka. So typically we are allotted 30 days if it's like 2 hours, 2 hours per day, or if it's 2.5 hours per day, then maximum 45 days is what we get. So you can imagine May attempt and November attempt. So if I was teaching like 2.5 hours in a day, then 1 month and 1 month. So out of 12 months, 2 months is to be CA teaching. Baki kya? What about next 10 balanced 10 months? Those balanced 10 months were like MBA teaching.
Got it.
And 2 months was like CA inter, CA final. I used to line up.
All this while you were in the CA world as well, teaching CA students.
I started teaching CA in 2010.
Okay.
From 2010 to 2019, CA. And simultaneously, I was also a SEBI resource person. So actually, that was again a very important turning point in my life. After I got married, I guess in 2012, this invitation came up in the MBA college where I was teaching. That all those who are college professors and who want to spread financial literacy in the country, they are invited for this SEBI learning course or something like that. Correct. I don't remember the exact name for that. So my director said, Rachana, you can go here. It was like a 7 days workshop. It was going to be conducted in Mumbai, and that was like a train the trainer program. So on behalf of my college, I went to Mumbai. I took this training for 7 days of how to educate people about investments, about financial literacy, difference between savings, investing, compounding effect, all basics of investing. So I took that training, and after that we were given targets that in 1 year you have to at least take 12 such awareness programs. So then I started taking these awareness programs in 2013, and I wanted to take one of the awareness programs in FinTree, and that is where I had gotten in touch.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of that. So Rohan had basically told me that you wanted to do something. It was that awareness program.
Yeah. This was the awareness program I was talking about.
Got it.
So in those 6 years roughly where I was a SEBI resource person, I took almost 100 plus sessions and took this for CA students, took this for MBA students, took this for corporates, got this opportunity to take the session for Indian Army Southern Command, did this session for CID. Once I got this opportunity to do this for blind school, that was again a big point for me, that blind school program, because we as teachers sometimes we get so much used to stuff that as usual I just plugged in my PPT and I started. And first was a typical visual quiz kind of a thing through which I always started, and that didn't strike my mind, unfortunately. And I said, okay, now let's start. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, I didn't change the slide. मुझे इतना बुरा लगा था उस दिन कि sometimes we become मतलब गुलाम बन जाते हैं हम किसी एक चीज के, right? And since that day I decided that at least one session in a while I'm going to do without any presentation in front of me. And that's the reason why even if you see my YouTube videos, you will not see that every time I'm referring and I'm saying, तब से वो आदत डाल दे कि you just have to have some base pointers with you and you should directly speak to the camera or directly speak to the audiences. So lot of incidences which actually shaped me as to who I am today. So all these SEBI related resource person programs, that was the time I understood, be it a student, be it a CA student or an MBA student, or be it a corporate, there are very few people who are aware about investing. I'll just share one small incident. I was taking this session in a big corporate, and that was a program for senior management, senior leadership. And when I was talking about compounding effect, compound interest, saving interest, ekdam hi basic things, and that person asked me that, Rachana, could you tell the name of some bank who gives compound interest and who doesn't give saving interest? Like, oh my God. So this is the level of financial literacy that we have in our country. So he might be amazing in what he does, but of course we need to have this literacy as well, right?
Never taught this formally.
Never taught. Actually, no one taught this. And even today in our culture, talking about money is still considered as a taboo, that we don't speak about it so openly in our family as well. So I thought that, okay, I need to do something about this. Maybe I can take it up to the next level. And that is where in 2019, when I completed 10 years of teaching, I said, kuch to alag karenge yaar. 10 saal ho gaye, I've been into same thing. So I was conversing with my students, what else do you want to learn from me? And they were like, ma'am, you have been investing, because I always used to tell all the different kissas of stock market. I've been investing since 2006 after clearing CA intermediate. The day I started getting my stipend, me and my husband, हमने 2006 से journey start किया हमारी stock investing की. So then you can imagine so much kissas I'll have with me, because 2006 I started and then happened 2008.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So every time I used to teach, I used to tell a lot of incidences, and many CA students came up to me and they said, ma'am, you just clarify our doubts about stock market. Why don't you take a small batch wherein you teach us all the basic concepts about stocks? I was like, idea to acha hai, but I know all these things practically. I don't know whether this really works in theory or not. So I said, just give me some more time. So in 2019, I gave some NISM ke exams.
Okay.
Just to cross check that whatever I know practically, does this happen in theory or not? So mera journey ulta tha, from practical to theory. When I cleared those exams, I'm like, acha, theek hai, now I have that basic confidence. And the first batch that I took, that was at the end of 2018, if I'm not mistaken. It was after the November attempt was over, CA November attempt was over, there were some 10-12 kids. They were my guinea pigs. मैंने उनको बताया कि अब मैं तुमको पढ़ाने वाली हूँ, रोज आना है आपको, मैं आपसे पैसे नहीं लूंगी बट रोज आना है. So I taught these 10-12 students. I took the feedback from them. I told them ki, I mean, that is how I figured out what can be taught, what can be skipped. And based on that, I just, compiled almost 70 concepts, which every beginner must know if he or she were to start his or her journey in the stock market. Something like, which is like super basics from stock market. Mein stock matlab kya hai? Stock market matlab kya hai? What is NSE? What is BSE? What is Nifty? What is Sensex? What is a market order? What is a limit order? What is a stop loss order? What do we mean by circuit filters? What is an upper circuit, lower circuit? What is a gap up? What is a gap down? We keep on listening to all these terminologies, but very few people will be able to tell the exact meaning of that, and very few people will be able to tell it with examples. So I thought I will try to do that. And that was the course which I did, Basics of Stock Market, which was my very first course that I taught in February 2019.
Is that the video that's there on YouTube with, I think, 3 crore views? 2
crore something.
So Rachana, 3 crore views means what? About 2.5% of India's population has seen. I'm guessing mostly Indians watching videos, right?
90% Indians.
90%.
Yeah.
So that was recorded in that live class.
Absolutely. So like in CFA also, I'm sure you might be doing this, that we typically record our classes.
Yes.
And that is what I used to do when I was teaching CA students also. So many people don't understand this. Yaar, first batch tha aapka, that was the first thing that you were doing for stock market. Why did you record it? I said, this is very common in CA teaching and CFA teaching, that we teachers do record it and then we sell it online and all that. So the purpose was to sell it online. Okay. I never ever had this in my mind that I'll put it up on YouTube. So I just recorded it so that those people who were not able to attend the batch, they'll be able to see it. They can take, typically pen drive model and Google Drive model and all that was there in my mind. And then one of the students came and said that, ma'am, if you've anyways recorded it, at least put one lecture on YouTube, na? So that was why that first lecture was uploaded on YouTube.
That's where the YouTube journey started.
Yeah.
Because that video must have gone, and it's a long video for 3 crore view.
90 minutes video.
90, it's a fairly long video.
Huge. Yeah, because otherwise all videos are like hardly 10-15 minutes, right? This is like way too higher than the normal.
So that told you that there is an appetite for this type of content. I mean, that's when you decided that now I'm going to be a Fin influencer, or I'm going to be a YouTube
No, because at that time I didn't know that whether we get money from YouTube or not.
I'm going to ask you that, by the way.
Yeah,
later on, that's coming your way.
Off the camera. So I did upload that, got an amazing response. That was true. So I thought that, chalo, let me try and put up some more videos on YouTube. And I thought it'll be a fun way to interact with people. To be honest, the logic at that time was, if I become popular through this, then my CA admissions will increase. That was the logic with which I started, right?
Yeah, that's a fair logic. Yeah, no one sets out to be an influencer.
Exactly. So that is how.
At least in those days.
True. Yeah. So that was the logic, and that is why I thought, chalo, let me put up more and more content. So in 2019, again, that was one year which was like complete mess in the sense was working like crazy in the year 2019. I was teaching CA, I was teaching MBA, I was taking corporate trainings, I was taking trainings on behalf of SEBI, and ये सब करने के बाद I was doing YouTube videos. Right? And so I was like working like mad in 2019, and I came to know that there is something known as YouTube NextUp. So this is like a competition that YouTube conducts. The word itself says it's a next up. So YouTube tries to find out who can be the next big YouTube creator. So the cutoff for that is that you can't have more than 100,000 subscribers. Maximum 1 lakh subscribers you can have.
Okay.
At that time in July 2019, I had somewhere around 70,000 subscribers. Okay. And I said, chalo, I am fitting into this category. So let me apply for that. So I applied, and all over India, only 12 channels are selected. Okay. But it was my luck. That year, it was women to watch theme. So only women creators were allowed. So chalo, आधा competition cut हो गया था मेरा. More than that, maybe.
More than half, yeah.
More than that, actually. So amongst the 12 channels that YouTube was going to select, my channel got selected. I remember I had gotten a call from YouTube office, and I was sure that it was one of my friends who was doing some prank. Because till that time, I didn't know even that whether YouTube has an office in India or not.
Yeah, I don't know today. I didn't know that YouTube actually calls you.
Yeah. So when I got the call, I said, I'm sorry, but it's very hard for me to believe that I've gotten this call from YouTube. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So if you were to get a confirmation from me, I would request that you drop an email to me from your official email ID. And please don't feel offended, because I have a lot of friends who can play this prank on me. So I request you. I told my YouTube manager at that time, okay, who then became eventually my YouTube manager. So she also started laughing. She sent me an email. That is where I got to know, chalo, genuinely mera selection ho gaya hai. And after the selection, it was like a 7 days boot camp. So we were rigorously trained for 7 days in Delhi. And it was right from how do you schedule your content? How do you prepare your content calendars? How do you prepare for your content? How do you shoot a content? How can you edit a content? What should be the lighting for that? So what are the different camera angles? So now you can imagine a girl who wanted to do teaching, eventually ended up doing CA, then CA teaching, MBA teaching, SEBI sessions, corporate training, and now I was into filmmaking. Because all that, what are the different types of cameras, 3-point lighting system, and key light, fill light, and I was like, oh my god, what am I doing? But in those 7 days, a lot of famous YouTube creators also came to address us. So Bhuvan Bam had come in those 7 days. He's one of
of course, yeah,
right?
BB Wines, right?
Yeah. Then Gaurav Taneja, Flying Beast, he had come there, and I was that mad that I did not know these names at that time. So when the first day everyone was like crazy, oh my god, Bhuvan Bam, Flying Beast, they're going to come. I was like, kaun hai ye? So they were mad. You don't know these names? I said, no, I don't know. Then he said, which channel do you follow? So I said, I watch CNBC. Because at that time I didn't know that aise alag-alag YouTube channels bhi itne hai. That was not my focus point, right? So it was pretty evident. That was the day when I actually binge watched the channels of different famous YouTubers, and I said, acha, ye itne bade YouTube creators hai. And in that session, I remember Gaurav Taneja told that YouTubing can be taken up as a serious profession. And this is a profession which can truly change your life also if it clicks for you. Then he told us that how he also pivoted from being an IITian to a bodybuilder to a pilot, and then eventually to a YouTuber. I said, "Arey yaar, isne bhi bahut lambi journey pass ki hai." And he was the one who was telling us that this can be something for you. So those 7 days, the biggest takeaway for me was that I came to know that money can be earned from YouTube. And I came to know that this has the potential of something really big. If I were to give it proper time, it can really become something big. And I was so charged up after those 7 days, after listening to all the sessions from all these big YouTube creators, after learning a lot. I decided that if I were to do this, I'll do it full-fledged. So first and third semester hota hai na ye, July to December wala. So I went back to all the colleges. I met all the directors and I told them that this is going to be my last semester. second, fourth semester जो Jan में start होगा, I'll not be there for that. And everyone was like, what happened, Rachana? You were there with our college for last like 10 years and all of a sudden you are telling us from next semester you are not there. Is there a problem with remuneration? What is the issue? Some politics? Yeah, तो मैंने कहा नहीं sir, पैसे नहीं चाहिए, time चाहिए. Right. So it was a shock for a lot of MBA colleges and a bigger shock for the students that Rachana ma'am is not going to teach. So that was like a news that was floating in MBA colleges at that time, I remember. And I said, I just want to give it a shot. बहुत अच्छा try करना है मुझे. So Jan 2020, I became a full-time YouTube creator. And then happens lockdown in March 2020. So that was again, बोलते ना इतनी शिद्दत से तुम्हें पाने की कोशिश की है.
इतनी शिद्दत से मैंने तुम्हें पाने की कोशिश की है.
वो वाला scene आ जाता है that if you're trying something really hard, the universe conspires that you get it, whatever you urge for.
But did you, I mean, I'm sure you didn't know it was an opportunity, right? It's more of an hindsight that now we know that influences became big.
Absolutely.
How did you approach it then? Like,
so when the nationwide lockdown was announced, that was the time I was like, oh my God, now I don't have my team, because at that time I had a team of 3 or 4 people with me for all this video making stuff. So now there's no one to shoot, there's no one to edit. Now what to do? So when I discussed this with my team members, we came up with a solution that instead of pre-recorded sessions, which we can still go ahead with, the focus can be more on live streams, which needs no specific shoot, which needs no specific edits. So the idea was good, but I think the more important part was that implementation for me was a shade easy as compared to other YouTube creators.
Correct.
Now, because you are a teacher, Utkarsh, and I have been teaching for a long time, I think we both will agree.
Yeah.
So for us, taking a live session is not a big deal at all.
Yeah.
हमको चुप कराना पड़ता है कि you have been talking for quite a long time now, shut up. Okay. So teaching for like 4 hours, 5 hours, like very normal for us.
Yep.
So I said, ठीक है, चलो, works is doable. So during lockdown, I remember I started taking 2 live streams in a day, one in the morning, one in the evening. And along with that, I was still doing 2 pre-recorded videos in a week. Now, who was the cameraman? Sometimes it was my son. Sometimes it was my husband. Sometimes it was my mother-in-law. Sometimes I used to keep it on a tripod, go start the shooting, come, shoot, again go there, stop. So I mean, did a lot of jugads is what I can say. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, I remember my son has come up in a lot of videos during my lockdown. My mother-in-law also, she was there in 1 or 2 videos in the lockdown.
We've seen a lot of your family, your staff, a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Right. And then the YouTube kind of just exploded, right?
Just exploded. But, you know, the day I had started focusing fully on YouTube, that was so Jan, Feb and March. My channel was growing at 50,000 subscribers per month, even at that time, before lockdown also. But when the lockdown started, that just exploded. It started, first it started with like 70,000-80,000 per month, went up to almost 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs subscriber addition per month. So I can say that was a golden time that I experienced on the channel. Yeah, I mean, I can surely say this, that during lockdown, when majority of the people were comparatively relaxed as far as the work aspect is concerned, of course, sabne ghar ka kaam bahut kiya, I know that, but work aspect, everyone was working from home, thoda sa laid back, chilled. But I can surely say that I worked 2x or 3x during the lockdown. In fact, I took a break after the lockdown was over. I was like, when everyone is at home, they would consume a lot of content, and that is where I should be putting out more and more content. Ek bar offices chalu ho gaye, to it is but obvious that people are going to consume a little bit less content. So I took a break pretty much after the first lockdown was completely done with.
Yeah, and the markets were with you. So that was also
101%. Very
important because suddenly now people sitting at home not doing anything, seeing markets going up and people making money. And then let me go and find if someone can teach me that. And here you go, Rachana Ranade.
Exactly, Utkarsh. Again, I can say that the same point. Itni shiddat se tumhe paane ki koshish. Right? So no one had experienced that sort of bull run in the last few years. But when a lot of content creators, started coming up, people were at home and they saw that, "Arey, this is some magical place, huh? You're getting a lot of returns in no time." Unfortunately, people started perceiving it as easy money. And they started putting in their money. Of course, they were getting educated through a lot of YouTube content creators, but unko aise lagne laga, yaar, itna dalenge, itna बढ़ जाएगा पैसा. Those who entered with that thought process of easy money are now facing the brunt of that. But to kickstart their journey, it was like full with enthusiasm. I'm sure you might have read about this. A lot of discount brokers like Zerodha, they also opened record Demat accounts during that time frame.
Yes.
So yeah, it was one of the kind journeys that a lot of people whose careers were related to the internet. It was
so 2.5 years now being a fin influencer, right? That's the term they use.
Finfluencer is what they call it.
Finfluencer. Okay. All right. So Finfluencer, 2.5 years. How has it been? Is it? I'm sure the journey has been a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah. For anyone, it is. For me, it was for sure. A lot. I mean, the downs part, I have not really spoken on camera. Some things, because I feel the more I start talking about the downs, typically, politics and all that, there's that. I think that spreads negativity. And I never believe in that. My family knows, my close friends know about it. Everyone knows that if it's an organization, there'll be some people who would not love that you are, exploding. Your journey is going, miles. So hoga aise kahin na kahin ego issues.
You say organization? What organization do you mean?
In my organization, in my team. In my team as well. Yeah, in my team as well. So yeah, there were some downs as well. But yes, I think you become stronger with these incidences, right? Many a times, so for those who are the first gen entrepreneurs, they don't know how to overcome such difficulties. And they feel that, sometimes it does happen that you feel that, okay, these 3-4 people are the people in my organization, and then 1 or 2 out of those starts overpowering, and it's some not good things happening in the organization. Many times it happens that your mental peace can be at stake. But that was a difficult time, almost 6 to 8 months as a difficult time is what I can say.
You think you had certain issues with your team?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, but I have never spoken about it anywhere. I will not speak about it today also, because I feel that every first gen entrepreneur is going to face that if they don't know how issues can be resolved in the organization. And it does disturb a lot of your mental peace. But I believe that, see, the compartmentalization thing that I was talking about when I was in P1, that focus, that passion that you have, even if I'm disturbed throughout the day, when I used to go in my studio and when the person who used to shoot, he used to say action, it's like in the zone, action. I have to focus on the shoot. So never ever did I feel that while shooting, I was somewhere else mentally. Never ever I believed that mera shayad quality niche gaya hai. So that is where again compartmentalization plays a big role, that when you are on stage, you have to be the performer. You can't give excuses that this thing is happening and that thing is happening. Let it be with you other times. So those who feel that the fame that these people get, the money that they are getting, it comes with a lot of hardships. Don't forget that everyone has some bad days. It's all about how you overcome those bad days. And I believe in those days, it's the family support. It's also your well-wishers, your friends, your team members. Everyone is going to take you through that phase. And I'm very glad that I have such amazing set of friends and family members who helped me to overcome that. And as I mentioned, it was more off-camera struggle rather than on-camera struggle. But it has been quite a journey in the last 3 years, I can say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Rachana, let's say now these days I meet a lot of kids, by the way. This is very interesting that's happening. It has never happened before. A lot of people come to us for career counseling, right? Especially the ones who want to build career in finance. Interestingly, a lot of kids who come these days say that I want to do something in social media space.
Yeah.
Right? So people are now looking at this as a legitimate career and they're training themselves for it.
True.
So what are your tips and advices for the guys who want to be finfluencer of some sort?
Yeah, so it's not only the grown-up kids, it's also kids. My son asks me that when are you going to start my YouTube channel? You're not going to get
How
one
old
right
is he?
now. He's like 9 years old.
He wants to set up a crypto channel.
So yeah, exactly. Now you're coming to the point. I want to start a channel. Doesn't make it. What would be your content? What do you think you have which maybe someone else doesn't have? So see, finally I was teaching what a stock market, and at that time also there were some very good YouTube channels, and they are my friends, of course. Now Pranjal Kamra was teaching about stock market at that time. Finnovations Prasad was teaching on YouTube at that time. Invest Yadnya was teaching since that time. But then you have to try and understand, if we have some amazing people out there, what are you going to do differently if you were to be counted in top 1 or 2 or 3? So that was the time I tried to figure out maybe 2 things I have with me. One is simplicity, and one, the point that you made very much at the beginning of this interview, the mischievousness, the humor maybe is what I can say. I said, let me try this out. If I can bring in a little bit of fun in finance, that can be, a pleasant thing to watch for the viewers. And I think anyone who wants to start their own journey on any of the social media platform, first try to understand who you are. You must know what are your qualities. You must pen down those qualities. So typical, I can say SWOT analysis is what you need to do for yourself. Then you should try and understand where is the opportunity, where you can really tap right now. And based on that, you should try to groom yourself. Once you believe that, yes, I can have something which I have to offer, that is where you can think about that as a profession. Just don't do it because someone else is doing it. This is what happened with a lot of people during the lockdown. Because lockdown mein you had time, and there were so many people who started creating content during the lockdown. Once the lockdown was over, they stopped doing it. This is not what will take you miles. If you want to make a mark in this field, you have to do a proper SWOT analysis. You have to see that whether you have something to be placed in front of the viewers. Even if it is comedy, even if it is singing, it can be anything, but it has to be something which adds knowledge, or which adds entertainment, or which can give something which is like a value addition, may not be in terms of knowledge, but in the terms of how to better lifestyle. There are many influencers who just tell about how to lead a peaceful life. Right? So this is again a very different thing, how to have mental peace of mind, how to keep yourself physically fit, how to keep yourself mentally fit. So simple thing, you should be able to add value. What value can be very different. It can be different for any person. If you're able to crack that, you're set.
But it's a little, I honestly believe it's a little difficult to kind of put some sort of there is some secret sauce, right? There's some magic masala that's intangible, which is slightly difficult to figure out, because you would also find random, people doing random stuff also getting popular on YouTube.
So sorry, have you seen this Cabby? You know this creator Cabby? No. Search for him on the internet. His videos are silent. He doesn't speak one word in the video. Okay. And small videos like 2 minutes video, 3 minutes video. A person, I don't remember which country he hails from, very, very, very poor person, didn't have money for 2 meals also, and he started creating content on YouTube. And his signature style is, he'll start the video with, oh my god, this is so complex, and he'll just do a very small thing, and he'll just, all this video ends with like this, so easy. and that became popular. And even I have used this in one of my videos, that my team is like they feel that the door is stuck and 3-4 people are trying to pull the door. We are just trying to do it in a funny way again. 3-4 people trying their level best to pull the door. And I enter in the frame and I tell everyone that go away. And I just, with the help of my one finger, I just push the door. It was a push door, not a pull door. Okay, I just do that. And I'm like, And the comment section was filled with cabby. I'm like, oh my God, this guy is so famous. So this can be a secret sauce again. Now for him, there is no language barrier because he doesn't speak in the video. So it can be any person in the world who can be his viewer. Right. So these things are very difficult to quantify, right?
Yeah.
That I can define with creativity. There's a couple from, I guess, Africa, if I'm not mistaken. I'll search the name, and they do lip sync. They're on Instagram. They do 1-minute reels on Bollywood songs.
Okay.
This guy and girl are, they look more like, tribal people. And they singing like, and he does a lot of Shah Rukh Khan songs. So it's so different to watch that this guy, and they have their hut, which is right at the background. Jungle is there. Sometimes a plain farmland. So nothing fancy. So you can just visualize the contradiction. पीछे हट है, यहाँ पे पेड़ है, यहाँ पे barren land है, and he's like, तुझे देखा तो ये lip sync and all that, and his wife is like, shying away a little bit. So this is entertainment in a very different way. So you need to, I know finding that is really difficult, but you have to keep on experimenting. Correct. And you will have to understand, okay, this works for me, and then maybe you can improvise. So yeah, it's hard to digest all these things, but people like Killy Paul, they are like just killing on different platforms. Absolutely.
So there is some, I think there's some, and I think it's got to do with your personalities as well, right? To a large extent, because what you are kind of reflects on the screen at some stage. Absolutely. Okay, but let's talk finance now.
Yeah.
So let's start with stocks, markets.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where are we headed? Like, how do you read the situation now?
To be honest, as far as India is concerned, I don't think we are in a bad position. Our inflation number, the May number was in fact a shade lower than the April number. If you're talking about the GDP, we are still well off. India is not doing bad at all, is what I believe, as compared to even USA. USA is right now having one of the worst phases in their recent past. You have seen that inflation skyrocket to more than 8%, where their interest rates are hardly like 1 to 2%. So it's a gap of almost 6% to be filled, and that's not going to be an easy road. The moment they're increasing their rates, it is going to come at the cost of loss in the production, and overall the economy slow down, and all these things are going to be a side effect. So it's as good as whenever you eat a medicine. It is going to give a solution, but that is going to give a lot of side effects as well. So it's the same logic which is happening in USA right now. If they're going to kill the inflation using some stringent measures with increase in rates, the side effect is going to be the decreased rate of growth in their economy. And so I believe that next almost 8 to 9 months, I don't feel that US economy is going to come back on track. They are going to have a tough year ahead, is what I believe. And it's the ripple effect that we are going to get from, because USA is not performing well. Indian markets are going to face the brunt of that, in spite of we doing well on our own. But this too shall pass, right? So I guess I'd read it somewhere that US has been in recession for almost 13 or 14 times in the past. And every time that they have come up, they have overcome the recession phase, their markets have made newer highs. So this is also going to pass, right? Like I mentioned, I see that maybe 8-9 months, upper end 1 year can be a difficult time for the market. When this passes away, US markets are going to make newer highs. I'm making the statement, but I'm very much confident that once they overcome this, they will make new highs. India will also follow this, and India will also make newer highs. And the thing that India will have, I believe, that because they were anyways not that bad, it's because of the FII selling and the global pressure which was impacting India. Once things start getting sorted at the global level, I believe Indian markets will outperform as compared to other markets as well. So if someone is having a view of somewhere around 5 to 10 years, I think this is going to be like one of the golden phases that we as stock market investors can see in next 1 decade, is what I truly believe.
So are you hinting that this is a a decent buying opportunity in the market now? Is that what you're hinting towards?
Short term, it can be a pain. So if someone starts buying right now, be prepared for a fact that your portfolio can be down up to 10% also from here also possible. But if you're doing something like an SIP, maybe you're buying for the next 10 months or for the next 1 year, every month you're buying little bit, you're getting a nice average out. And if you're holding on to that for the next 10 years also, I think you are going to make good money.
But do you not think that the markets are still like markets are still not undervalued, right? We on a multiple level, I think the PE is at about historical median at this moment.
Yeah.
So
a shade lower than that, a shade lower. It has gone below the median.
Yeah, a little bit. So from a valuation perspective, do you think we're in that zone where you're getting real value for what you're buying?
So yeah, talking about the valuation, that was maybe one of the reasons why I told right now that maybe 10% correction from here in a matter of 1 year, we can be prepared for that. Hopefully we don't fall by another 10%. But if we still do, then at that time valuation will be again a shade lower from whatever it is right now, number one. Number two, whatever little I know about stock markets, from my practical learning, I can say from 2006 to 22 now, I believe, and maybe you will also agree to some extent, that all these valuations zyada hai, valuation is at a higher level, this, that, all these things are talked when markets are not performing well. Right? You agree with me? Once the markets start performing well, no one will talk about what is the PE multiple and whatnot. We have seen stocks trading at 100 PE multiple, 150 PE multiple. No need for me to even tell the names. Everyone knows all these new age companies. Didn't they get listed at a good price? Didn't they do well post listing also? When did they get a big beating? When market started to go down. So all these things, higher valuation, this is going to be talked about for a maximum 9 months, 1 year. Once markets start rebounding, no one is even going to look back at the valuation. I believe markets is more about emotions. It's more forward looking. It's more about the story rather than the earnings part. They'll be ignored when markets start resuming their upward journey. And the upward journey that we have seen in the last 2 or 3 times, the fall is also sharp and the recovery is sharper. So at that time, people will not even find the time to catch the bus. So that is the reason why I keep on telling the investors that SIP is the best way to invest in such markets. Thoda, you will get.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly, right. So all these valuations, I think, are the talk of the town for 1 more year. Not after.
Okay. And anyways, no one can time the market. So you don't really know when the bottom is really there, right? And I
always say that only 2 people can time the market. God and liar. Not the third person.
Yeah, but then see, I think we are also based on the assumption that everything gets okay in 9 months or maybe a year. But that's not necessarily true, because there have been times in the past where decisions have continued for a longer period of time. There have been significant time corrections.
True.
But even in those cases, someone who's doing SIP still wins out in the longer space.
100%.
As long as the holding period is good.
Absolutely. So I can also tell from my own, a practical understanding. My stock portfolio has gone in red. Okay, many a times in the past also, even right now it is in red. But my mutual fund portfolio is still in green. At this point in time also, after such a massive correction. Because I've invested at any and every level I've been in. So I have a weekly SIP. I don't even have a monthly SIP.
Very cool.
Right? So every week on a particular day, I've selected 4 or 5 mutual funds.
That's also because, Rachana, you can afford to do it, right? A lot of us.
No, it's not about that. I'll tell you. So for example, there are so many mutual funds where the minimum investment amount is 500 rupees. Okay, 500 rupees, you select 2 funds, chalo. Okay, for those people who believe, I don't have that much money. 500 into 4 weeks. So that comes to 2,000 rupees. You select 2 mutual funds. So assume you go ahead with 1 index fund and 1 blue chip fund. Right? Second fund again, 500. So total kitna invest karna hai? 4,000 rupees. I believe any person who is even earning somewhere around 30,000 rupees per month does have a capacity to save up to 4,000 rupees for stock markets. for direct or indirect.
So the point being, you're saying because of the heightened volatility, you think weekly SIPs makes more sense now than monthly SIPs, right?
Absolutely. Now these days, gap ups and gap downs is like normal. And I mean, if there is no gap up or gap down, we'll be like, what? Only or we'll be like, only 20 points gap up, only 10 points gap up. Nonsense. 100 points gap up, 150 points gap down. This is like the new normal.
So when you said Nifty will be down by 10% in a year, in my mind, I was thinking probably 5 days.
You never know.
Possible, yeah. Anyways, okay. How about crypto? What's your view of crypto?
So I'll tell you this more from an emotional angle again. You know, when cryptos were doing well, everyone was behind cryptos and everyone was like, I want to start. There have been some painful data points which said that people who have started their investing journey, I guess recently of late, 20 to 30% people have started their journey with cryptos. They don't have FDs, they don't have RDs, they don't have mutual funds, they don't have stuff. First investment in cryptos. This is painful. Okay. But the current bloodbath that we are seeing in cryptos, is this new? Is this happening for the first time? And answer is no. This has happened in the past. For those who have been, so I have been following cryptos since 2018. Little bit here and there. I came to know about cryptos. I can't, using the word following is far-fetched, I can say. I came to know about that in 2018 end ke aspas. 2019, I started to study. And 2020, I started to invest. Okay. When I was studying about cryptos, I saw that in 2017, when it saw the first mega bull run is what I can say. When it started falling down, 82% was the correction from the top. 82% correction. And here we are in Nifty at what? 15% correction odd, and people are going mad in Nifty. But crypto has seen 82% correction in 17-18 phase. In 2019 phase, it has seen 73% correction. And right now we are at 68% correction. So this is normal. But so those who don't,
I cut you in between. Yeah. Okay,
just one or two more sentences. Okay. So those who are saying like, what is this nonsense? It's like 65% correction. This is not nonsense. This is the type of asset it is. Extremely volatile asset. This is like super high risk, super high return category. So if it goes up, it's going to go up. It will outperform equities also. If it goes down, it will outperform in the fall. Right? So 80% correction is like normal for crypto space. And this has happened in the past is what I'm saying. So those who are wanting to invest in cryptos, they must be aware about these points also. Do I invest? Yes, even I invest. But how much should you invest in cryptos is also a big thing. So number one, whenever I'm investing, I first need to understand the use cases of crypto. So for example, something like Ethereum, it does have a very good use case, the Ethereum platform as such. If you're talking about Web 3.0, I think Ethereum is like an inseparable part of Web 3.0. If I'm talking about Solana, Polygon, they are going to add a lot to the Web 3.0 if it were to be a hit. See, we are betting on a technology. If it works, it will work. If it fails, it can fail also. Can crypto fail? Yes, it may. But I believe that if Web 3.0 has some promise in it, I feel it is promising. And if I feel it is promising, I should not stay completely away from that. So depending on your risk appetite, maybe up to 1%, up to 2% of your portfolio can go in cryptos. But again, I'm telling you based on risk appetite. So all these, newer and newer exchanges, something like CoinSwitch Kuber, or this is not a paid thing. I'm just giving an example, okay? Or be it CoinDCX or be it WazirX, right? These platforms have enabled investors to start their investing journey with 100 rupees also. Okay, so in stocks, I can't invest in fractions. If I were to buy Reliance Industries, I have to shell out more than 2,000 rupees for even one stock. That's not the case with cryptos. Fractional investing is allowed in cryptos. So I can say I'm putting 100 rupees in Bitcoin. I'm putting 100 rupees in ETH. I'm putting 100 rupees in Polygon Matic, right? So if you were to test new waters, typically in Bollywood style, 10 साल के बाद मैं ये नहीं कहना चाहती कि काश मैंने तब कुछ किया होता था. I don't want to do that. So it's more of a FOMO thing, fear of missing out, right? I admit that it's more of FOMO. But then a reasonable investor can use a party fund concept, which I've talked so many times on my channel. Only invest that much which doesn't disturb your mental peace. For example, if I go out with my friends, I can easily spend, let us say, 5,000 rupees on a party, a single night party. So 5,000 is my risk appetite. मैं आराम से खर्च कर सकती हूँ. तो 5,000 I can put in cryptos and I can say, चलो मैंने party किया. Okay, so even if that is gone, I really don't bother about that. But if it is a hit, that can potentially go bigger. That is what my take is. I'm betting on the technology. I'm betting on the Web 3.0 space. If it does work out well, then all these platforms like Ethereum, Solana, Polygon Matic, they do have a lot of potential.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Give us your top 3 stocks. Let's say someone is watching this, is after listening to this, got excited, want to start investing. So give us three of your favorite picks right now and tell us why quickly, 2-3 sentences.
Yeah. So one of my pick is Bharti Airtel. I've talked about this so many times on my channel. India with 135 crores of population, having only 2 major players right now, Jio and Airtel. Jio is not listed. If you were to invest, it will be through Reliance Industries. But Airtel is the only stock in the telecom space right now, which is listed and is doing very well. That was the only stock which did not wither away in the Jio storm. In fact, they stood firm. They did apply different business strategies and were able to, grow bigger. So I believe it's like a stock which I have in my portfolio, and I truly believe it's a fundamentally strong stock. Second one, fundamentally strong again, but was with a high PE multiple, got beaten down in this entire fall, is Jubilant Foodworks. I love their business model. I feel that even if India starts getting fitter, people are not going to quit eating pizzas. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to do a lot of binge eating, and stocks like these will find a lot of customers. So yeah, second one would be Domino's or Jubilant Foodworks. The third one again, which has seen quite a bit of beating down, but I believe railways are never going to stop in India. Even if people keep on getting richer and richer, there is going to be a lower middle class which will shift to the middle class. The middle class is going to shift to the upper middle class. And the railway travel is never going to die out, and so will not IRCTC. So basically, these can be stocks with which one can start their investment journey. These are kind of monopoly stocks that I did talk about right now. Bharti Airtel or IRCTC, these are fundamentally strong stocks, have a decent enough market share, decent enough business plans, business models. So yeah, these are the ones which you can see in day-to-day life. If I'm talking something like alkyl amines, even if it is fundamentally strong, people are like, what is an amine? What are amino acids? We are not from that field, right? But we can see Indian Railways, we know Airtel, we know Jubilant Food. We can see that in daily life. And that's how we can, if we are closer to the brand in our day-to-day lives, then I think that's where our confidence goes a shade higher.
Oh, fantastic, Rachana. Thank you very much for doing this. I had a great time talking to you, and I'm sure our audience is going to love the whole conversation. I must tell you bring in a lot of energy. And I think that's seen in your videos. I could feel it today, the way sitting across the computer. But you do bring a lot of energy, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for doing this.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and I'll see you. Hopefully, we'll see you again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll meet up again.